Hi guys, it's Aegis here. Today I'm here with a Nirvana deck profile. So this is upgraded by the cards on DBT03. Uh, we do have a lot of new cards getting into play, and I did pick some of them that I feel important to upgrade the Nirvana deck. With red lines, so far we're still using the same, but maybe in the later future we actually have something else to use, maybe. But so far, um, the red line will still be the same. And since it's a Nirvana deck, it's an OverDress deck, For Trickster is still here. Because I'm not using him as a starter anymore, I do want the soul. Just put him in the main deck. You can grab one through the red lines, but if you want the second one, you need to work harder. And then 3 more in the founder, for personal right, for filling up the soul. That's basically what it does. And then 2 Expector. So this is the new card, which is a little bit hard to use. And same with Valiante, you don't have protection on this card. So if you're playing OverDress deck and you are in a kind of a retire heavy environment, I don't suggest you to take the deck out that much, or you need to be very careful on when you play your OverDress units. But Expector is really impressive in my opinion after I actually play test with it. And I'm play testing against like Bastion, and I have a good time against it. So let's also talk about Expector skill. So first, the overdress requirement is he can only overdress on top of a unit that is in overdress states. It's not that you randomly have a Expector or any other units with overdress skill on the board without anything under it as an overdress state, and like that you can't do it. Valiante you can, with Trickster or something that is already on overdress, but with Expector you don't have that option. You can only put it on top of something that is already on overdress, which is a little bit hard because whenever your opponents see your units in overdress states, they probably want to get rid of them very fast. And without Expector, you don't have that kind of a defensive protection. He doesn't protect you from retiring skills, prison, and all this stuff, but Expector protects you from being attacked because his permanent skill is with this unit. He also gains the original power of the overdress based. So say if you have a Trickster, and then you have like a Vairina, and then you put it on top with your Expector, it will be a 28k because 13 plus 10 plus 5. That's how it counts. Yeah. So this means comparing to Valiante, this card has a lot more defensive power, and you can even put a Expector on top of the Expector, and then with a grade 2 with your Trickster is a 41k. So normally it's not that easy to beat by attacks, and there is like one game I did that with a 41k Valiante, just stood there, just basically attack every single turn. I don't do anything else, and then because my Nirvana will pump 10k to my Vairina Exspecta, that means it's at least a 51k. And then if a person right is 61. If I add in triggers, it can be 61, 71, can be more. And I don't even need to use the skill, because once I use the skill to counter blast 1, gain extra 15k and 1 crit, I need to lose all my overdress space. So I most of the time I'd rather not do that, unless it's like a go in moment, then, or maybe that 15k really matters to drain up my opponent's shield, then I will do that. But if not, I'll just keep it as a overdress stage, at least 28 or maybe 41k, and just stood there, guarantee a strong unit, and attack every single turn. Because this is kind of like when you're playing some other older eras, you keep stacking power to one unit, and it just stays there every single time you just do that. Your opponent still need to give up shield. So I think it's a good option to do that, and I'm glad that at least Expector is kind of more defensive and easier to survive than Valiente. But of course, again, against Retire, against Bind, against Prison, all these things, you're still going to suffer. So if you do like fight against those decks, it's probably better choice to fill up your Expector and go all in before getting Retired, getting Imprisoned. So do make sure you tune your mindset when you use Expector, but at least you get a more defensive play with this card. And then 2 Vairina, just for me to pick it up with the right line. An extra one is the secure space, and it is a card that you can simply just overdress and gain 10k. You can choose not to Soul Blast 2 and kill something, but at least it's always a plus 10k. So what's better than a free unit with high attack power? Probably not, usually, especially when you're running out of resources. Because for example, the next card, Ox and Elgar, all of these use resources. You can simply overdress normally with your Elgar without the Soul Blast 2, but then you cannot counter charge. If you just overdress for your Ox and not counter blast to draw 2 is probably a waste because you're also losing the plus 5k. But Vairina right there, it's just simply free. And then of course these two is your key grade 2 overdress units. This you always want to draw whenever you already place a Trickster into play. Then you go into your Arcs, draw 2, that plus 5 is just for that moment to attack, doesn't matter after. And then if you protect it a little bit, then you can go to Expector and just stays there at 28k, which is, I think is good enough. But Arcs is always a target for opponents once you use the skill, so you do need to talk to your hand, make sure you can keep him alive, or it's okay to just let him go while you still have your Expector and you bring back your Trickster and you overdress into other units. Yeah, you do need to think about that. Elgar actually cut into 3. It's more because of the environment that I'm in. It's always about prison, it's always about retiring. So Elgar as a defensive card is not helping me that much. But of course against Bastion, this kind of deck probably can help, but it's not as important than Expector. And since I'm not using the Monk combo at all, so the Trickster re-attack combo and then like get into Overdress into Elgar and attack again, these kind of things won't happen until I personal ride. So I don't see a need to run that much, but if you do want to, feel free to add, because I'm running other new cards, toolbox cards, which kind of help me out. And here's the first one, Treza. So she is a new Blaze Maiden and a rare from DBT03, which her skill is when her attack hits, counter blast 1, and you can get a overdress unit back to hand from drop. Some people might ask like, why are you running this card? It's because sometimes I really running out of overdress units, and this gives me a chance to pick something up from a drop. And usually if they go to drop, meaning they are quite useful. It could be I have to drop a Vairina from hand to ride from a right deck, but I actually do want it. Or it can be Arcs that I already used and get attack and go to drop. Then at least I get a chance to pick them up again and then use them again. Do use counter blast, so do make sure you use it correctly to give your opponents pressure, to like, okay, if you let me hit, that is what I'm going to get. Is this important to you? Guard it. Yeah. And then 2 of the Eason. It is an interesting card that if your Vanguard attack hits, you can retire this unit, draw 1 and counter charge 1. We don't actually have a lot of counter charge in the deck. Like we do have like Elgar, but it requires Soul Blast 2, and you don't always fill yourself with more soul. That's just the fact. So having units that can simply have you counter charge, you don't need to put him in front, you can even put him at the back and just use your Vanguard attack, and if your Vanguard attack hits, you can just put him to the drop, then you also get a draw 1. So it's still a good card, but you can simply just place him up to attack anyway. That won't hurt at all. But mainly he's here for the counter charge. And then I have 4 PGs, just because PGs are PGs. And then Tokachirashi for filling the soul. But I don't use it like too many anymore, because I have space for this new units that I want to try and end up being helpful. And also another new support, which is Himena. So this is another Blaze Maiden from the set. It's a double rare, and this card, compared to Tressa that picks up cards from drop, this card actually look at top 7 cards of the deck to find up to 1 OverDress units and add to your hand. So now you can search from the deck and you can pick from the drop, and then usually you just keep drawing, keep doing your drives, keep putting pressure, and then pick up OverDress units from here, from there, and just build up your strong force and build up your Expector, trying to finish your opponents off. And then enter triggers. Over trigger, just restand your Vanguard. Who doesn't love it? Crits, 8 crits with the new crit, so that we can continue for our soul. For Elgar, for Vairina, to do retiring, to do counter charge, to do withstand, basically helps you less easier to running out of resources. At least you have the chance to fill it up. Free draws and for heals. Compared to fronts, I still love the draw, because this deck you do discard sometimes, and draw is a good card to discard, and you want your pieces. This deck without any link to pieces is easy to break sometimes. Like if you don't see a second trickster for the whole game, you're probably going to cry. You can still survive with 1 trickster, but it's always better to have 2. So using draw, kind of speeding up your chances to get what you want, what you need, I think is helpful. Yeah, so the deck itself isn't changed like a lot, but there's a lot of little toolboxes with the Blaze Maiden, with Ezen, that you can use. I also do want to try like the order, but I don't actually find the space for it, and I need to do multiple OverDress in order to gain benefit from it. And as I said, you don't always get to trickster, and if you don't get there, you can't help to use those orders, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's the facts. We do try, but that doesn't work. So we keep basically the mainframe, switching Valiante into Expector, which is great, adding some new supports like Ezen, like Tressa, like Himena, using the new crit. So far, this deck is helping me out. Not the deck that I bring up most frequently, because I'm still a Stoichia main. But if I'm going to take a Dragon Empire deck, I probably take this or Eugene. Eugene, I can just have fun, and this I can train my brain, because I need to know what I'm doing. Overdress at the right time, protect the unit at the right time, switch gears when I'm facing like a prison deck or a retire heavy deck, all sort of things. Yeah. So as usual, let me know if you have any questions with this deck. Always happy to answer any questions, or if you find some other interesting cards, you feel free to comment down below and we can discuss further from there. Yeah, so thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.